This is Coogan Cassius for iFL TV. We're in Newcastle here, ahead of tonight's show at the Metro Arena, Hull versus Butler, live on Box Nation. With me, I've got promoter Dennis Hobson. How are you, Dennis?
Good. Bit weary from last night, entertaining yourself and a few other friends. Great place, Newcastle. Love it up here.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we spoke a little bit this week about what's going on. Obviously tonight, you know, it's a huge fight involving two British fighters, and it's been a bit fiery between the pair of them this week, between Hull and Butler.
Butler Senior and Asif.
Yeah, we should have got them having a little
could have been a locking horns
talk
scenario.
off.
Yeah.
But talking's done now with that, Dennis. It always comes to the point where the talking does get done at some point, and what happens in the ring will ultimately, you know, be the stone set for Butler and Hall. What happens in the ring?
Yeah. A little bit of hype and controversy and whatever. I mean, you seen last Saturday with Frotch Groves. We had Howard Foster, and that fight wouldn't have been probably what it was. But you know, I think you need a little bit of needle to get up for fights and to really get yourself involved in something that could be memorable. And I think sometimes, if you like, you know, it's a gentleman's sport, or it should be, but at the same time, you've got to get your emotions and your adrenaline going to get the best out of you, and you need a bit of fear factor to get the best out of yourself, and that little bit of needle, I think, can help you get there. And I think we've got that with this fight. I think Hall and Butler, it's a proper trade fight. It's a proper fight, and you know, I'm not just saying it because we're promoting. I think it's a lot better fight potentially than Frotch and Groves. Now that might sound crazy because of the how big that fight was, and it was a fantastic event, and I do take my hat off to as regards the event itself. It's great for British boxing, but this is a proper trade fight.
I had a little brief conversation with you before. That the show at Wembley, to me, shows, and we spoke about this during the week, the potential of how many people could be interested in this sport that we know that doesn't get enough coverage as it is, Dennis.
Absolutely.
So what are the key factors, do you think, to ensuring that happens? Because we don't get them events like that every week, and I don't know what would happen if we did, but what do we need to do to reach out to this audience?
Some of my theory is politics. They go hand in hand with boxing, and we shoot ourselves in the foot because there's that much infighting, people stabbing each other in the back, and that's not just me going on about, you know, what's happened to me recently, but it doesn't do us any good because we could all be part of a lot bigger pie, and that showed with Frotch and Groves how big boxing can be in this country. Getting the tabloids, terrestrial TV, getting it marketed, and getting the public, getting the crossover, getting a bit of pantomime, if you like, the goodie versus the baddie or whatever, them kind of scenarios, that's what will take boxing to that next level. And instead of football sucking all the back pages up, we want a fair share in the back pages of the main tabloids, and that's what will take boxing to another level. We need that. It's a sport, but we need the personalities coming through. There's a lot of fighters, you don't know what they eat for breakfast, you don't know what the daily life consists of, you don't know the personalities. They might have got some little superstitions and stuff like that, and quirky personalities, and there's a lot of kids out there who's got great personalities. We're not all the same in boxing. There's kids who's got all sorts of different lives, and characteristics, what's got them to where they are, and what makes them tick. We want to know what makes them tick. That's what gets a kid the crossover, and it gets the support, and it gets household names, and that's what we need to do. And it's like it's chicken and egg because of the politics. Going back to politics, I think that's sometimes where the bad press that some kids get, and some I like, there's all the litigation and, you know, court case and people suing each other in boxing, and a lot of these maybe TV execs maybe shy away from that. I think, well, I'd rather put darts on or televised golf, cricket, because I know what I'm getting. There's very little litigation, in them kind of sports, and you know, they know what they're getting. Whereas boxing, sometimes too many politics. I think we shoot ourselves in the foot there, and that we need to have a look at ourselves, because we don't help ourselves. But one great thing about Saturday night is that will send shockwaves around the world how big boxing can be in this country.
When we talk about the personalities in boxing, for me this is what all contributes a large proportion to what boxing is, because not just now, but you go through recent decades and it's always been the personalities, the Chris Eubanks, the Nazis, you know, and you go back to, you know, American fighters, the vocal American fighters that have been much publicised over the years. This is what really gets the casual boxing fan interested in the sport. So when you get guys like we have today, people like Tyson Fury and James DeGale, Chris Eubank Jr., people have got a mixed opinion about, shall we say. But these, I mean, even you go to Adrian Broner in America, like him or not, he gets people talking about boxing. Whether it's positive or not is a different matter, but like you said, it is a pantomime. It is a pantomime, and boxing needs these characters.
Absolutely. There's another big character behind you, Dave Garside. I want to surround myself with characters, because I've enjoyed it with you this week, because I think you're similar to me, that we don't take ourselves too serious, and that's what people everybody's got problems in their life, everybody. So Eubanks, Muhammad Ali, Naz, to a certain degree, a lot of the stuff were tongue-in-cheek stuff. It was like said as though it was serious, but there were a little glint there, as though it weren't really. It was just theatre. Yeah. And people want a bit of theatre. They want to lose yourself, because we've all got some problems in this personal life, and you want to lose yourself in something. And if somebody can take you away from the problems you've got, that's what transcends. That's what gets the crossover, and that's what. For example, my daughter, she's a lovely singer, and I've said to her, Jessica, you can have great singers, but you know, if they're boring, they'll listen to one or two songs and they'll turn it off. But you know, if you've got personality and you captivate people. Robbie Williams, for example, is not the best singer, but he gets the audience in the palm of his hand, and that's what boxing, sports personalities can do, and that's what we need them to do, and we need to encourage them to do that, and it's how we get them to do it. And that's, instead of all pulling away from each other and backstabbing each other and being dishonourable, there's a big pie out there, and we can make it a lot bigger, and people can have a piece of that pie, and as be a major sport in this country. But because I keep saying it, football is our main sport. It sucks all the back pages up, sucks all the money.
Rightly so.
I love football. I've played football all my life. But on the world scene, what do we win at consistently? Consistently, over decades, the last few decades, we've had a world champion. 1966 was the last time we were the world champions at football. And football sucks all the sponsorship, all the tabloids. All they want to do is talk about football. We only want a little bit of that action, and that's what can take boxing to another level.
When we talk about the publicity that boxing gets, I'm not talking about when I talk about bad publicity, I'm not talking about the legal disputes, etc. But when you get two characters, let's say last night there was a thing in London between Chisora and Fury, and a few people sort of question the way they conduct themselves, but is bad publicity for boxing in that way better than no publicity?
I think there's a line, and I'm probably a bit old school. I think, like, if it starts getting personal, like I might have a chip at you, but I'm not going to tell you like I'm going to eat your kids and stuff like that. You know, man, I might do. Have you got any kids?
I haven't. You're safe there.
I'm safe. So, but I think you've got to draw a line where it gets, you know, where you don't involve your families. But apart from that, I think controversy sells. It does sell. But I love the tongue-in-cheek stuff. I'm brought up on an era where I can still remember Cassius Clay. That's you, Cassius. Muhammad Ali, obviously Naz, Sugar Ray Leonard. You got Duran, Agler, and all about them. you know, all great personalities, a fantastic era, but they'd all got their own personality. But I was brought up on listening to Reg Guthridge, great commentator, and obviously Harry Carpenter, great commentators, and they got you captivated. But they were on terrestrial TV and they were on a regular basis. So I know we've got Sky TV and satellite TV and Box Nation, and but we still need the wider audience, and it still should be in everybody's front room. Yeah, and like Frank Bruno, you know, he was a hero. But we're in schools now. We you know, teaching boxing in schools because they know the benefits it has for kids who's got poor attention. You know, got attention deficit. I probably were one when I was younger, but it gets kids. It sorts the mind out. It's a lot of benefits apart from it being just a sport. It's a great sport. Teaches you to be competitive, teaches you to have self-discipline, and it teaches you to have a bit of pride in your body. So there's that many benefits from boxing. I know I sound like a bit of a preacher, but it's a great entertaining. There's nothing like a big fight night. There's nothing like a big fight night. The buzz you get from it, and if we could stop all this infighting and get rid of a lot of this politics and have a better system, and to be honest, I might sound controversial here, the boxing board's got a lot to answer to, because you know, they're our ruling body, and that's what they should do. They should rule. They should rule. We've got his opinions, and I don't want to say too much about it because I've got strong opinions about them. But you know, when you buy into something and you pay into something and you expect to get protected and stuff like that, and they're supposed to move with the times, because ever-changing times. Everything changes, and if you're involved in you've joined up to a club, then there's supposed to be rules, and you're supposed to stick to the rules, and let's be consistent, and that way you can grow up together. That's what's holding boxing back. We've got to sit down around the table and put our hands up, and I think we should throw away the rules now and rewrite them again if we want to take boxing to the next level.
You said yourself there that controversy sells boxing. Is it a problem, kind of, that we have to rely on controversy to sell the sport rather than the actual fight, Dennis?
We shouldn't have to, but we shouldn't have to. But it's, I think at the end of the day, football. I mean, you get people like QPR now. One bad boy from Liverpool, Joey Barton. People like that. I mean, he's like Marmite, great footballer, but he comes out with some crazy things, and you think, where did you leave that this morning? But you tune into him. You tune into him, and I think like there's a fine line between. They said between madness and genius, don't they? And you know, Gaza, bless him, he's what a genius as a footballer, but obviously troubled upstairs. And I think you know, a little bit of controversy it does sell, but I think what we've got to be careful about is making sure that it becomes detrimental, and it don't send the wrong messages out to kids growing up. And that's what we've got to be careful of, because we've still got to think about the next generation. And that's what we should do. But the controversy does sell, let's be honest, it does.
Okay, do you think we've become over-reliant on it though in this sport? A little bit? I
think at the moment, because we need a little bit of help from, like I said, the tabloids and the terrestrial television. I think we've got to get the... maybe, I mean, because like I've just said about, I know I'm leading off about what good boxing can do for young kids, but like maybe the government can intervene, you know, because it's even as serious as that, because boxing is a great sport. It's we're probably one of the safest boxing bodies in the world, so you know, medically and stuff like that. So we've covered ourselves. We're moving with the times in that respect. But promoting boxing, we're lacking behind a bit, and I think right through to the government, I think we can do a better job. And I think, like I keep saying, we should be we should be on terrestrial TV, whether it's on, you know, on a cable, you know, the actual FISON cable. But I think we should still be on terrestrial TV. I think we should be in everybody's home. People should have access in everybody's home, because the only way that we see boxing personalities mainly is probably you do as good a job. You do a job what maybe terrestrial TV should be doing, and it's just getting the airtime to be able to do that. We can make personalities. They haven't always got to be Sugar Ray Leonard and Floyd Mayweather. A character, if he can fight and he's in a good fight, you'll tune in.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like you haven't got to see Liverpool play Chelsea every week. Crystal Palace versus Hull City, that could be a fantastic game. Yeah. And then you get to know the personality. You look out for a winger who's tricky, who can create something, and you want to get him on the ball. And you wait for these personalities and want to tune into them. We don't all watch Chelsea and Liverpool every week, but we still tune in to watch a great match, even if it's not the top of the Premier League. Sometimes the Championship games are phenomenal. The playoffs are phenomenal. It's great entertainment. So, you know, boxing don't get the airtime, and that's why we're having to probably rely on the controversy to try and get in the back pages of the papers, and that's wrong, really.
Alright, listen Dennis, I know you've got a lot of people waiting to speak to you, looking out the windows, so...
That's Tourette's.
Alright, well listen Dennis, thanks for talking to iFL TV.
Did you enjoy your dinner last night?
Do you know what? The steak yesterday was marginally better than the one before.
Really? You haven't been to my steakhouse in Sheffield?
Not yet.
The Brooklyn Steakhouse?
Not yet. It's coming. It's coming. But that was a good restaurant last night.
Yeah, you come. Bit of jazz on Friday and Saturday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You singing at the
me
middle of the table.
A bit of swinging from me, yeah. Throat's gone a bit, nanny goat's gone a little bit today. I'll be there tonight.
Absolutely. Well, we look forward to tonight. A few hours away, rather than Box Nation. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting night.
Oh, great! Some great scraps. And like I always say, I'm fortunate. I've got a good seat. I'm blessed because I'm a fan. So privileged for me to be able to be involved in fights like this.
Absolutely. We'll get a reaction to you for the show after the fight, and then it's on tonight.
Where's my best pal though, James Elliott?
You're going to end on that note?
You want me to?
Not really.
You're in the playoffs now.
I was in the playoffs 3 days ago. Surely
there's only two of you.
I've won on penalties now.
You get in there.
Listen, if I don't say it later on, thanks for everything the last few days. Hospitality has been first class, so I appreciate it, as we always do.
No, it's great having you around. You bring somebody to the table, Coogan. Promise you.
Thank you very much. Alright, this is Coogan Cassius with Dennis Hobson for iFL TV. Thank you very much.